There's a new children's graphic novel series called Judge Kim. This is turning out to be a very creative way to educate children about the law. The creator of the Judge Kim books joins us now from his studio in the Washington, D.C. area. Welcome, Sean Martinborough.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you for having me. It's great.
Yes, tell us about yourself.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm an artist and a writer. I've been working primarily in comics for, geez, almost 30 years now. So I feel kind of old. I've been doing primarily working for Marvel and DC. I've drawn characters like Batman, Black Panther, Luke Cage, Hellboy. I did a long-running series called Thief of Thieves with Robert Kirkman, who's the creator behind The Walking Dead and Invincible. And so this was a really great opportunity to sort of switch gears and work on something a little bit more, something geared more towards kids, you know. And I co-created with my partners Milo Stone, Joseph Village, and Christopher Jordan, who is our amazing artist. So for this project, I was able to sit back and co-write, and somebody else had to draw all the images.
And how did you come up with this idea? What triggered it?
I had a friend who was a lawyer, and we used to always have these conversations about what to do in a situation. And I'm a huge television law lawyer show. So starting with L.A. Law, Boston Legal, all those shows, and so I had all these theories about what to do if you're ever in trouble. And my lawyer was like, "That's just wrong. That's wrong." But I heard at the barbershop, the guys at the barbershop said this is what you should do if you're ever in trouble. And she was like, no, that's all wrong. And it really got me to thinking that your average person does not know much about the law and how it works. And
Right.
considering that our country, and for the most part, this world is run by lawyers, that's something that we really need to change. And
Hmm.
I thought about growing up those old Schoolhouse Rock jingles that got me to thinking about how a bill becomes a bill and all these things and how that still sticks in my head to this day.
Hmm.
I was like, using my gift of storytelling, it could be interesting to sort of apply that to something that could teach kids and their family about the law. And that's how we came up with the idea for Judge Kim and the Kids Court.
Hmm. Talk about some of the characters in the series.
Well, we have our lead character, Kim Webster. Kim lives in the town of Fairville with her mom, dad, and her brother Miles. Her mom is a judge, and her dad works at the local newspaper. And one day, I'm sorry, Judge, I jumped the gun. One day, Kim, she goes to work with her mom, and she watches how her mom acts as a judge and how her mom adjudicates cases and figures things out and listens to evidence. And so Kim was like, that's interesting. And so when she goes back home and she goes back to the neighborhood and there's a beef, she tells the kids, wait, don't fight. Don't jump to conclusions. Let's take this to my treehouse and present the evidence to me, and I'll figure out what's going on
I love
here.
it.
And so we have Gabby, we have Simone, we have Neil Strong, we have Miguel. We have a bunch of different characters. Basically, this is like our Little Rascals meets Judge Judy, and that's the premise.
That is really, really just genius. Now, why do you think right now it's important for children to learn about the law?
Well, as I said, you know, our structure of governments and how the law is all around us,
Hmm.
and so it's important for kids and their parents to have an understanding of that. But also what this book really wants to do is sort of slow kids down and think more,
Hmm.
not jump to conclusions. I think with the advent of social media, everyone's very quick. Everybody wants to be quick and fast,
Hmm.
and unfortunately, they're not usually quick and right. So with this book, we really wanted kids to kind of slow down and be more empathetic and really think more.
Hmm.
Look at the evidence before you and make an informed decision. And also, like I said, just be empathetic towards your fellow, men and women, your fellow citizens. And because there's the first book is about a case of sort of mistaken, not identity, but it's just people jump to the conclusions about the new kid in school. Our character, Corey Boone, who lives in the rural part of Fairville. And so when bikes go missing, people are looking at Corey and they're like, wait a minute, Corey, did you steal our bikes?
Hmm.
And Kim's like, well, okay, it might seem, on the face of it that Corey stole the bikes, but we think there's more to this story. And that's where her and her friends start figuring things out, start, looking into the clues, and she puts together what happened. And that's really what we want kids to do more of, really just think more and really base their decisions on fact and
Mm.
evidence.
Mm. Oh my goodness, this is so good. And what's some of the feedback that you've received already?
Oh, it's amazing. Like, well, I mean, personally, like my mom is a retired public school teacher. She taught second grade in Harlem, New York for like 30 plus years.
Hmm.
So for me to do a project that really taps into what my mom is an authority on,
Mm-hmm.
that's amazing. And
Yes.
recently, I was invited to be part of an author event at the Schomburg Library in New York, and they asked me to read some passages from Judge Kim, and it was a great crowd, parents with their kids. And before we started, I was going to, ask my mom, oh, hey, mom, would you want to read some of the passages with me? And she was like, okay, but here's what you should do. When you read to kids, you have to do this, you have to turn the book, you have to reference, you have to slow down. So I said, Mom, why don't you read this?
Oh, how
And sure enough,
special.
and my mom said, okay. And she sat there and read the first issue of Judge Kim. And I mean, it was really like she took me back to when she used to read to my sister and I as a kid,
Oh my
literally. So
goodness.
I'm sitting there, a 52-year-old man, listening, taken back to when my
Just,
mom used to read a book, and she's like, well, and Kim does this. And then she would turn it and show it to the audience, and the kids were just like,
oh my goodness. The
so to answer
memories.
so to answer your question, like the feedback that we've gotten from kids and their families is just amazing. They're just like, where can we get this? And one of the things that really touched me is a parent told me that their child had been a little delayed with regard to reading, and she
Mm.
said this was her first book that she picked up, read cover to cover, and just loved it, and is constantly rereading it. So things like that are just inspiring. Yeah.
That is incredible. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm dreaming of a place called Fairville myself. Thank you for that really just brilliant idea and for this is a breath of fresh air. And where can people get your books?
Oh, so you can find it definitely online, SimonandSchuster.com, Amazon. Hopefully, if your local bookstore is not carrying it, let them know that it's available.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so that's pretty much that's where you can find it. And I just definitely want to give a shout out to my co-authors, Milo Stone and Joseph Village, and our amazing artist Christopher Jordan, whose style is so amazing. And so yeah, it's just yeah,
Absolutely.
it's an amazing team.
Yeah, it jumps out at you. The illustrations are just really special. They stand out. So thank you for joining us. It's really nice meeting you. Books encouraging children to consider careers in law are a great way to get them interested in the legal profession at an early age.